Hi, this is my code for the simple calculator I've been working on, and I'm starting out by writing down libraries that I require, and of course I have added math.h for all the calculations that I'm going to make. This is how the calculator looks, and I'm starting out in the main function. I just declare all the variables that I required. First, the two integers that I use for the modulus, the long doubles, which I use for all the other calculations, and the character type data types called keys and conversion. I start out by creating a do-while loop. This just states all this information that the user must know before he can use the calculator. For example, he must know what symbols to use to create the calculation. For example, divide. You have to write down the calculation with the symbol in between, and then enter to get the result. Cout states this information, and then cin asks you to put it in one number, the first number, and then the keys. So you put in the first number, 45, and then the keys you want to use, the option you want to use, plus, and then the switch case starts. In the plus case, it asks you to add the second number, which is 5, and then the result will be number 1 plus number 2. And then this case is done, and it breaks. In the minus case, which works the same way, you add the first number, and then the keys, and then the case starts when you add the symbol. And minus 5, which is in case minus second number, and the result is then 40. In the division, which works the same way, I'm gonna give an example for each of them. You just write in the numbers, and then in the multiplication case, 2 times 3, and then the modulus case, I am taking the first number and converting it into an integer from a long double. Let's say 78 is now an integer, and then we're adding the second number. Now it is an integer, and then we add the second number, 8, and then the result is 6. Or let's say 80 modulus 80, 0. In the Q case, we have the square root, and I use the squared function from the math.h library. We have 64 square root is 8. And then the C, which I also use another function from the library. You just type down the number, and then you get, and then a C followed by a C. Then you have the result. In S case, we have the sign, which works the same way. Basically, you write down a number and then S. And tangent the same way. And the power, I also use the function, and then I added the second number, so I have 4 to the power of 2, 16. Retry. After you've done any calculation, the computer asks you if you want to delete the remainder or retry the calculation. I ask the user if he wants to do that. For example, if he has 78 tangent, the result has a lot of decimals, and it asks you if you want to delete the remainder or just retry the calculation. And if you press D, you can see the result without all the decimals, which is 0. And then you type R to restart again. This happens in this if sentence, else if sentence, this is where I used the character data type conversion. It checks if conversion. Let's do this again. 78 S, and then here it asks if conversion is D. It checks if conversion is D. If conversion is D, then this result on the screen will be converted into an integer. This integer, and then it stays out. and then it asks you again to type in CN conversion, which you could type R, and it would clear the system and continue all the functions and calculations you could use. Elsif uses almost the same as this part, but in case the user does not want to delete the remainder, he can just press R and it will do the same thing as if pressing D and R. This is the end of the do while loop and checks if the user presses N. Then the calculator will stop. And that is how the calculator works.